Hi guys, thanks so much for joining me in practice today. This is a mixed level flow sequence. We're going to open up the inner thighs, work into the hips a little bit, and work towards a pose called compass. So you will need a strap or something similar, like a belt or anything that, even a towel or anything like that. And then if you have a block, you can grab one of those as well. And we're going to get started on our backs. Great. Any position on your back that feels comfortable to start with is fine by me. So just getting settled. If you want to take some wriggles or movements, go for it. We're not going to be here for a super long time, so just get comfy and allow yourself to drop into your body and into your breath. If you need to take an exhale out of the mouth, go for it. And really just use this time here to check in. See how your energy levels are. And just see what it is that you need to get from the practice today. So if there are things that you want to skip out, go for it. You can omit the vinyasas if you're not feeling it. But also if you do feel like you want to work dynamically, there's plenty of opportunities for that. We'll take another 5 deep breaths here. Go ahead and hug both of your knees into your chest. I'm so sorry, Henry. I need my leg. Thank you. You're going to hug your knees into your chest. Take a little rock from side to side. Do whatever feels comfortable and good here. And then you'll set the sole of your left foot on the floor. Grab your strap. You're going to take it around the ball of your right foot. And then press the right foot up to the ceiling. Flex your toes back towards your shin and pull down against the strap. Now, if you're a little bit tighter through the hamstrings, you might want to bend and straighten the right leg a few times, just getting into the hamstrings. And obviously, this is early days, so don't try to overstretch the hamstrings or try to lock the leg out. If it feels okay, you can always extend your left leg long on the mat as well. And then once you've found your way into the straight leg, the straight right leg, or as straight as you can, I then want you to spin your right toes out and in. A couple of times. Out and in. You might pause on one side for a few breaths. So you're just starting to target the inner and outer hamstrings as well. And then we're going to take the right leg out to the right a little. So you can take both ends of the strap into the right hand, bring your left hand onto your left hip, and allow the right leg to shift out. Maybe your eyes are still closed here as you just pay attention to the feedback that your body's giving you. And if you're a little more on the flexible side, just be really mindful that you're not overstretching your hamstrings. Maybe you need to bend the right knee a little. Coming all the way back up through center and release. Bending the right knee and placing the right foot down. So strap around the ball of the left foot. And again, begin by just bending and straightening the left leg a little. And then when you're ready, you'll hold your left leg in a straight position, or as straight as you can, and then maybe from here you're choosing to extend the right leg. Drive the ball of your left foot into the strap and then pull down on the strap. From here, start to take those little movements of just pivoting the foot out and in. And you might notice that it gets pretty intense in that stretch, particularly for me when I spin the foot out. I really start to target that outer hamstring. It's pretty strong. Relax your jaw, the muscles around your face, your cheeks. Then we're going to take both ends of the strap into the left hand, right hand onto your hip so that that hip doesn't lift up, and then allow the leg to move out to the left. If you find that your hip does really start to lift up off the floor, just rebend the right knee and place the foot back down. Nice, smooth breaths in and out through the nose. Last couple here. And bringing the left leg all the way back up, go ahead and release the strap off to the side. You might want to shake both legs out or hug the knees into the chest. And then set yourself up in a reverse tabletop. So your knees are stacked on top of your hips. And again, you're flexing the toes, the feet back towards the shins. Interlace your hands back behind your head and really press your lower back down into the floor. So as soon as you do that action of pressing the lower back down, you'll feel the belly start to pull back towards the spine, and that's what we're looking for. From here, you'll curl head, chest, and shoulders up away from the mat. And you're going to draw your right elbow towards your left knee. Now, notice I didn't pull my knee in a lot. My knees are still stacked. I'm just twisting through the torso, trying to keep this left shoulder blade lifted, and then I'll extend the right leg. We'll come back through center and change sides. And then find your rhythm here. It doesn't have to be super fast, and in fact, it's probably going to be more challenging if you keep it slow and just really focus on your form. Just make sure you're breathing. Keep pressing the lower back down. Navel pulls back towards the spine. Keep a good check on keeping the knees stacked on top of the hips. So I'm really using my abdominals here for this rotation to happen. I'm not getting so much into the hip flexors or using momentum. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we'll lower everything back down. Take both legs long, reach your arms back, take a full body stretch. And then hug your knees into your chest. You're either going to roll to one side, or you can rock and roll up and down the length of your spine. We're going to make our way to tabletop position, hands and knees. You might want to move your props so that you have them handy for practice. And just 3 rounds of cat-cow here. As you inhale, drop your belly, lift your sternum, lift your sitting bones, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Press the floor away from you, round your upper back. Again, inhale through cow. Exhale, cat. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Find a neutral spine. Walk your hands towards your knees and then make your way up to a kneeling position. I'm going to turn slightly on my mat so you can see what I'm going to do here. You're going to take the right leg out to the right, drive your heel down into the floor and curl your toes back towards your shin. You take your right hand, slide it down your leg and reach up and over with the left arm. So a couple of options here. You can bend the top elbow, kind of clasp your head into the hand and just support your head if you want to turn the gaze up. Try to stay nice and light on your right fingers. Alternatively, if you would like to use your strap here, this is a little more challenging, so it just depends what you're up for, what you're in the mood for. You can take it a little wider than shoulder width distance apart and add in your side bend. Keep some length in the neck. Make sure you're not just throwing the head back. So getting into the left side of the body here. 3 more breaths. Lifting all the way back up, and we're just going to change sides. So drawing the right knee in, extending the left leg out. By the way, this is called Parivrtta Surya gate pose in case you wanted to know. So either left hand sliding down the leg, reaching up and over with the right arm, just making sure you're not pressing into your left knee or kind of hyperextending that leg. Keep it strong and active, or otherwise maybe you're working with the strap. And even if you've decided to turn your gaze towards the ceiling, you'll notice here that I'm not just kind of throwing my head back. What happens is, like, our head is heavy, so sometimes we kind of do that action. Then we just kind of overstretch the front part of the neck, right? So I'm still keeping some nice length through the back of the neck. I'm just rotating my gaze or shifting my gaze towards the ceiling. Scooping the left ribs forwards a little bit more. Three more breaths. Coming all the way back up. And you can set that strap off to the side. You're going to come straight into downward facing dog from here. So tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back. And then just take a couple of breaths to do whatever it is you need to do here. Maybe it's pedaling out the feet or taking a twist. And perhaps you're dropping into your Ujjayi breath. And just remember that it is a heating breath, and if you're maybe in the middle of a heat wave, as we are here in LA, in California, maybe you don't need this really strong Ujjayi breath. You're already going to be creating heat just by moving and breathing. So if at any point it gets too much, maybe you exhale through the mouth and take a sigh. Really think here in your down dog of lengthening through the sides of your body, lengthening through your spine. We're going to inhale, shift forwards, high plank position. Hold and breathe in this first high plank. And if you need, lower the knees down. Pull up through the belly. Extend through the crown of the head as you press back through your heels. Take a quick look at your finger pads, your finger knuckles. They should be starting to turn a little white, right? So you're gripping down into the mat, taking the tension, the weight out of the wrists. Take another full breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forwards, high plank. You're going to hold here, or if you wish to add on, you're going to walk one foot in and then the other so that you're in a hovering tabletop position, and then you'll walk the feet back out. And you can change which foot leads. And just notice that when I'm walking my feet in, I'm not just hiking my hips up, right? So I'm keeping my hips nice and level with the shoulders. Again, I'm not just dropping the head. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forwards, high plank position. We're going to slowly lower all the way to our bellies, slow and controlled. Untuck the toes, take the hands wider than the mat. Fingertip cobras. Inhale, peel the chest up. Pull your chest through your shoulders and release back down. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. Last one, we're going to hold at the top here. Maybe you want to shimmy out through the shoulders or look over one shoulder and then the other. Coming back through center and releasing. Downward facing dog. Always an option to add in a push-up to high plank and then to press the hips back. So again, you can control the intensity of this practice. Walk your feet to your hands. Take any forward fold here. You might want to circle out the wrists or just take a ragdoll. If there's anything that you're still holding on to from your week, from your morning, your day, try to let go of it here. And just really commit to the next, 50 minutes of practice, doing something positive for your body and mind. Release your arms, press into your feet. Begin to roll yourself all the way up to standing, and at the top, roll your shoulders back and down. Gather your hands into prayer, allowing your eyes to close, perhaps setting an intention for your practice today. Inhale deeply. Open mouth, exhale. Release your arms and allow your eyes to flutter open. Inhale, sweep your arms up, big stretch, reach up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold forwards, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway, strong belly, strong legs. Step back, plank pose. Again, nice, slow, controlled lower all the way to the belly. Make it smooth. Thumbs in line with the low ribs. Roll your shoulders back and down. Inhale, peel the chest up. Try to pull your chest through your shoulders. Strong lower body. And release down. Press back, downward facing dog. Make sure that you're really pressing evenly through both hands here. And as you press the floor away from you, your forearms are lifting away from the mat. And then keep all of that. Just lift your right leg, bend the knee, open up through the hip. Maybe circling it out if you like. Maybe you shake out the leg. This doesn't have to be super specific. Then you can take that movement back in the opposite direction if you're taking circles. And then you're going to step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Keep the back knee lifted. We're in lizard pose. Now let this be a little messy, right? You might take circles, you might pulse, you might take some forwards and backward actions, just really getting into the hips, into the lower body, seeing what's up. Keep your hands down on the floor. Step your left foot to the outside of the left hand, Malasana Yogi Squat. So your heels may be lifted, that's okay. You might reach your arms forwards, or if you prefer, hands come into prayer. Try to pull your knees away from your upper arms. Lift your chest as the sitting bones move towards the floor. Take another full breath in. Exhale, hands down, fold, heel, toe the feet, hips with distance. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Press into your feet, rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. Again, inhale as you reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Step back, plank pose. Slowly lower all the way to your belly. One more low cobra. Roll the shoulders back. Peel the chest up. And then imagine you had sandbags on your feet. And you're going to keep the legs nice and strong. Try to hover your hands. Again, still some length through the back of the neck. And release, downward facing dog. Pull your front ribs towards your back ribs. And then lift your left leg, bend the knee, open up through the hip, circle it out a couple of times, do what you need to do. Maybe it's a little different on this side. When you're ready, step your left foot to the outside of the left hand, finding your lizard pose. Keeping the back knee lifted and just explore some movement here. It might be different to what I'm doing. When you're ready, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand, Malasana. Hips low. Again, trying to pull your knees away from your arms. Find a little bit of cobra in your upper back as you lift the chest up. Take a full breath in. Exhale, fold, lift the hips, heel, toe the feet, hips with distance. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. Again, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Step back, plank pose. This time we're going to lower through chaturanga and pause. So use your knees if you need. Stay for the inhale. Stay for the exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Your thighs are lifted, your kneecaps are lifted. Back to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg. Step right foot to the outside of the right hand. Left foot to the outside of the left hand. Malasana. Full breath in. Exhale, fold. Lift the hips, heel, toe the feet. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. Last one, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Step back, plank pose. We're going to lower chaturanga. Pause. Full breath in. Long breath out. Inhale, back bend. If you're not ready for up dog, all good. Take it back, downward facing dog. Lift the left leg. Step left foot to the outside of the left hand. Right foot to the outside of the right hand. Malasana. Full breath in. Exhale, fold. Lift the hips, heel, toe the feet. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Rise to stand, reach up. Hands to prayer. We'll set up for chair pose. Feet as wide or as narrow as you like. Just make sure your knees are tracking in the same direction. Sit the hips back and down. Lift the chest up. Reach through your arms. And again, try to find cobra in your upper back here. So you're lifting the chest, pulling up through the belly. Maybe you can sit the hips further back. Take another full breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. We'll step the left foot all the way back. Keep the left hand down or maybe use a block and reach your right arm up. Now you can either stay here or you're going to drape your right arm behind you. Maybe you can even grab a hold of the left hip point and use your hand to help keep it lifted up. From here, roll the right shoulder back and down and hug your outer right hip in. Inhale, reach the right arm back up. Hand to the floor, step straight back through your vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot to your left thumb. Right hand stays down or on a block, reach the left arm up. And then from here, maybe adding in the half bind, draping the left arm behind you. Using that hand to help lift up the right hip. Pull your outer left hip back. Inhale, reach the left arm back up. Hand to the floor, step the right foot forwards and fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, sit low, reach the arms up, pause. So make sure you're spreading the weight evenly through both feet. You're pressing through the heels, the big toe mound, the pinky toe mound, and then rise to stand, Tadasana. All right, you're gonna bring your hands onto your hips, standing into the right leg, bend and lift your left knee. Right, so I'm really wanting you to pay attention to your torso here. If you start to lean back, it means that you need to keep this left knee bent, right? We really want to try to stand up nice and tall. So any amount, start to kick the left leg forwards. Maybe it just straightens a little bit. For some of you, it might straighten all the way. But again, really standing firm in the right leg, extending through the crown of the head. And then any amount, you're going to take that left leg out to the left. Ooh, this is strong, right? Hug your outer right hip in, so don't let that hip just sway out to the right. Keep hugging it in. If it's too much, just bend the left knee. Remember to breathe. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that leg back in and shake it out. Do you see how much harder it is to do that than to just hold the leg and take it out? And even though you might feel like you're not going as far or as deep, it's a more true representation of your strength and your flexibility because you're just asking your muscles to do the work, right? So I know it can be frustrating, but it's going to be a little bit healthier for your body. All right, so again, standing into the left leg, going to bend and lift the right knee, standing up tall, belly's in. Any amount, you're going to start to straighten the right leg. Maybe just straighten it for a beat or two and then rebend it. Doesn't have to be straight the whole time. Focusing your gaze on one point. And then any amount, taking that leg out to the right. You'll be able to see it a little better this side. Make sure your left hip's not just swinging out. You want to keep hugging it in. You need to bend the right knee, go for it. Last 3, 2, and 1. Draw that leg back to center and release. Tadasana. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, step or float vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Lift your right leg. Exhale, knee to nose, pull it in. Inhale, extend. Right knee, right upper arm. Pause here, or maybe try to squeeze that knee and lift and hover it just off the arm. Inhale, extend it up and back. Knee to nose, warrior two. Step through, round the back foot down, come on up. Find a nice, strong warrior two. And then today for the arms, you're going to reach the right arm up, bend your elbow, take left hand to right elbow. If you want to work full Gomukhasana arms, you can take the left arm back behind you or maybe even use your strap. If you like here, closing your eyes or maybe just settling your gaze on one point as you hold and breathe. You want to keep hugging your right outer hip in and keep your right knee tracking in line with the second and third toe. And this might help you to then feel a deeper stretch through the inner right thigh. Re-extend your arms. Go ahead and straighten through the front leg. Now lift your right hip point a little. Flip the front palm. Inhale, reach up and back, reverse triangle pose. Take your left fingers around your right wrist and just start to side bend a little bit more. Pressing firmly through the right big toe mound as you reach through your right fingers. Keep this shape in your upper body. Go ahead and bend your right knee. Warrior two, re-extend your arms. Straighten through your front leg. Trikonasana, inhale, reach forwards. Right hand is going to rest really lightly on your right leg. Reach the left arm up. And then you're going to scoop your right ribs towards the left. So option is to stay here. There is also the half bind, draping the left arm behind you. Or if you want a little bit more, you're going to interlace your hands behind your lower back and then work your fist away from the lower back. As you do all of this, think of lengthening through your spine. So the torso is long. So we're going to take this into half moon, the balance. If you've got this interlace of the fingers, you can keep it. Shift the weight into your right foot. Find your way into your standing balance. So we keep spinning the chest to the left. If you wish to add on here, you can bend the left knee and maybe you find Shavasana where you can tuck your foot between your hands. Embrace all the little wobbles. They're natural. They're going to happen. From here, standing split. So re-extend the left leg. Hands come down towards the floor or onto blocks if you've got them. And you're going to fold your chest towards your right thigh. Lift your left leg a little higher, but try to keep your hip squarish here, right? And by that, I just mean we're not rolling open, but we're squaring off the hips. So think of using your left butt cheek to help lift that left leg a little higher. Release the left foot next to the right, and then heel toe your feet a little bit wider than hips with distance apart. Couple of options here. You can either hang out in a forward fold, or you can wrap your right arm underneath your right leg and start to work a bind, taking the left arm behind you. You could also use a strap here if it's you're not quite getting that bind. So you're going to stay here. For those of you who want bird of paradise, and it's just an option, weight comes into the left foot, lift up onto the ball of the right, and then slowly make your way up to your balancing pose. You can extend the right leg. Last couple of breaths. Now for anyone in the bind, I want you to try and keep the bind. We're going to place the right foot back down if you've lifted it up. We're going to step the left foot back. So you're in a lizard pose. Maybe it's a bound lizard. Maybe you've got your hands on the floor, right? So it doesn't really matter which variation. Keep your back knee lifted. Last breath here. And then go ahead and place your hands to the inside of the right foot. Walk your left foot back even a little bit more and then lower the left knee down. So we want to try to be a little bit more on the left thigh rather than the left kneecap. And then walk your right foot out to the right. You're going to spin onto the pinky toe edge side of the right foot and allow the right knee to kind of move away from you. So again, just getting into the inner thigh. Maybe you stay here, maybe you lower down onto your forearms. If you're on your forearms, coming back up onto your hands. You're going to walk your hands to your left foot. So lift the left knee. You're going to pivot around towards the left for Skandasana. So we want to keep this left heel grounding down. My right toes are peeling back towards the shin. Now you can bring hands into prayer. You might be up here. If you're a little further down, great. You can stay there. If you wish to add in a side bend, right hand to your left ankle and then reach up and over with the left arm. So lots of different variations here. One is not better or worse than the other. It just depends on your body. If you are in the side bend, try to rotate your chest towards the ceiling. And lifting the torso back up. Now try to do this without your hands for as long as you can, right? So maybe bring your hands into prayer. You're going to pivot back towards the front of the mat, spin all 10 toes forwards. Wild thing, lift the right leg up and back. Bend the knee, open up through the hip, and then maybe flipping your dog, wild thing. You can rest your right foot on the floor. Press the floor away from you. Lift your chest, lift your hips. Last full breath in. Exhale, release, vinyasa. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, knee to nose, shift forwards, pull it in. Inhale, extend. Left knee to your left upper arm. Now hold here, or if you want more, hover the knee just away from the arm. Inhale, extend. Knee to nose. We're going to step through warrior two. Ground the back foot down. Come on up. Maybe check out your feet. Make sure they're doing what you think they're doing. Nice deep bend into the left knee. And then adding on the arm. So lifting the left arm, bend the elbow. You can just have right hand to left elbow if you like. Maybe you're taking the right arm behind you, working the full bind. Of course, you can always do this with a strap. And then focus your attention, your breath to the left inner thigh. You can almost imagine that if you were doing this at the wall, you know, your spine pressing against the wall, the outer left thigh pressing against the wall. Warrior two. Straighten through your front leg. Lift your left hip point. Flip the front palm, reach up and back. So I'm nice and light on my right fingers here. You either stay there or you can take your fingers around the left wrist and start to side bend a little deeper. At the same time that you're doing all of this, imagine you were squeezing your feet towards one another. Now keep this shape in the upper body, just rebend the left knee. Warrior two. Straighten through your front leg. Trikonasana, reach forwards. Left hand comes down, reach the right arm up. So you want to make sure that you have your foundations, just going to bring it back a little bit. Make sure you have your foundations nice and strong here. Belly's in. You're hugging the front ribs in. Then if that's all feeling good, maybe you're taking a half bind, or maybe you're interlacing the hands back behind you. Maybe you're keeping the bind as we shift into half moon. You can hop the back foot in a little bit if you need. Remember, if you come into your balance and something's feeling a little bit off, it's always best just to reset. Making sure the left toes are still facing forwards. Perhaps adding a Shavasana, bending the right knee. I'm going to hook my hands around the right foot. A little bit of an advanced variation if you want it. Re-extend the right leg. Standing splits, hands come down. So here you start to square your hips back towards the floor. You'll feel your right hip point kind of pull down towards the mat. And then walk your hands into your left foot as you fold your chest to your thigh. Go ahead and step your right foot next to your left foot. So again, you can widen the stance here a little bit. You're going to thread your left arm underneath your left leg. So it's kind of, my shoulder is coming more towards my knee. And I'm going to find the bind there. Or you could use your strap to take up that extra area, that extra space if you need it. So all good to stay here in a bound forward fold. If you want bird of paradise, you're going to bring the weight into your right foot, lift the left heel. With control, you're going to come all the way up to stand. It's always a good idea to get your balance. And then when you're ready, kick the left leg out. So you're going to keep the bind if you've got it. If you're in bird of paradise, you're going to slowly make your way all the way back down. Then we're coming into lizard pose. So maybe you can have the bind the whole time as you step the right foot back. The hands are on the floor, that's fine. I'm just here for a couple of breaths with that back knee lifted. And go ahead and release your hands to the inside of the left foot if you haven't already. And then you're going to shift back. Shift that right foot back as much as you can, and then begin to lower down onto your right knee, your right thigh. From here, you're going to peel this left foot open so you can start to stretch a little bit deeper into the inner left thigh. Maybe you're coming onto your forearms. And if this doesn't feel good for your left knee, if you've kind of tried to make your way into it and made some little adjustments and it's just not happy, you can stay with regular lizard. I'm going to come back up onto the hands. Skandasana. So you're going to lift the back knee, walk your hands to your right foot. Make sure your right toes, your right knee are pointing in the same direction. And we're trying to keep this heel grounded down. So you might be here, Totally fine. You might be here. Fine. Maybe you've got your left hand around the right ankle and you can add in a side bend. Last couple of breaths. Upright the torso. So again, try to do this without using your hands. I'm going to bring hands to prayer. We're going to pivot towards the front of the mat. Spin all 10 toes forwards. Hands down, three-legged dog. Sweep the left leg up and back. And then stay here or flip your dog, shifting the weight into your right hand, gently placing the left foot down. So I'm not collapsing into my right shoulder, but I'm pressing the floor away from me and then spiraling my hips, my chest towards the ceiling. Breathe 3, 2, last one. And exhale, release vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Take 3 deep breaths here. Inhale, lift your right leg. Exhale, knee to nose, pull it in, shift forwards. Inhale, extend. Right knee to right upper arm. Inhale, extend it up and back. Right knee, left upper arm, twist, pull your chest forwards. Inhale, extend. Knee to nose, step through, high or low lunge, you choose. Reach your arms up. So take your time to find your way into a strong lunge. Make sure you've got your balance, your setup. And then we'll bring hands into prayer. We're going to twist to the right, hooking the left elbow over the right thigh. Roll the right shoulder back and down. And if the back knee is lifted, really firm up through the left thigh. You can stay here if you wish to open your arms up. Go for it. Release your right hand down, both hands down. Lower the back knee down, half splits, Ardha Hanuman. So pull your hips back, straightening through the front leg. I'm going to curl my toes back towards my shin. Again, just be mindful that you're not kind of dumping into this knee joint. And then with the foot flex, spin your right pinky toe out to the right. And again, you'll hit that outer hamstring, and you know when you're there because you'll definitely start to feel it. Turn your toes back towards the ceiling. You're going to rebend the right knee. Now spin your left shin parallel to the top edge of the mat. You'll bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot. It can always be on a block. And then reach the left arm up. So option is to stay here. You're in a modified side angle. If you want to make it a little more challenging, you can grab your strap again. Hold it a little wider than shoulder width distance apart. And then you can kind of take this variation here. So we're not just like pushing this left hip out, it's hugging in. And then we're spiraling the right ribs towards the left. So I know this flow is, a little bit slower. There's some moves here, some transitions that, are a little different, but it's kind of nice to move slowly. To really see what our body can do sometimes when we're not just relying on our hands to pull ourselves into a shape. Although sometimes, we might do that. And then we're going to lift the torso back up. All right, so take your arms out wide. So here we're going to try to do this without the hands. We're going to drop the left hip down to the outside of the left shin, and then you'll take your left leg out. So we're kind of in this bent knee straddle position. Take your hands back behind you and sit up nice and tall. So I'm lifting the chest up. So what we're going to do here is you're going to come onto the pinky toe edge side of both feet. So like we did in lizard. And then I want you to use your outer hip muscles, the big muscles, to try and draw your knees closer towards the floor. And hopefully you get this nice big stretch through your inner thighs. And then you draw the knees back in. So use the big muscles, draw the knees out and back in. You're going to do that a couple more times. If that's feeling pretty good, you might start to straighten the legs a little. Maybe they're all the way straight. You're spinning out and back in. Let's do one more. Good. And then you're going to bring your hands to the inside of your legs now. Again, still sitting up tall. Rebend the knees if you've straightened the legs. So with the hands here, you might stay just lifting the chest, or you can take your peace fingers around the big toes. This can be a little wobbly, so you might go one foot, then the other. Get your balance. Keep extending through the crown of the head and lifting through the left and right sides of your waist. Stay there or start to extend one leg, maybe the other. Think of pulling your chest towards your thighs. You know, if you wobble and fall out of it, all good. You'll bend your left knee. You're going to place your left leg down onto the mat like so. So it's almost in a half Baddha Konasana shape. Couple of options here. Either release the right leg down and you can fold over your right shin, or you'll bring your right hand, your right arm to the inside of the right leg. Now we're going to use our hand for a little bit and then we're going to let go of the foot. So with the right hand down, you'll take your left hand to your right foot and you'll start to kick the leg up. So we're working towards compass. Now if you want to make this more challenging or just get a deeper understanding of where your body really is at, you're going to let go of that leg. Do whatever you want with the left arm, whatever you can. So this is obviously a little more challenging than just relying on your hand to, pull yourself deeper into the shape. Last couple of breaths. And release that right leg down. You'll bend your right leg so that the shin is parallel to the top edge of the mat. You're going to extend the left leg back behind you for a pigeon pose. So if you need to sit up on a block, go for it. Either fingertips to the outsides of your right leg, or you can bring your fingertips to your temple. We'll take an inhale here. Exhale, come down halfway. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, lower. And lift. Let's do one more. You're going to lower. And lift. Three-legged dog, hands down. Take your right leg up and back. Bend the knee, open up through the hip. Now either flip your dog fully, or if you want the added challenge, keep your right foot hovering and continue to spiral your chest, your hips towards the ceiling. Last full breath in. Exhale, release, vinyasa. Last side, here we go. Lift the left leg. Exhale, knee to nose, pull it in, shift forwards. Inhale, extend. Left knee, left upper arm. Inhale, back. We're going to twist left knee to the right arm. Pull the chest forwards. Inhale, extend. Knee to nose, high or low lunge. You choose. Step through. Come on up. Take a moment to set up your stance. Make sure you've got your balance. And then when you're ready, add in the twist. So I'm pressing my left leg into my right arm and pulling the arm back into the leg. Rolling the left shoulder back and down. Maybe even opening the arms. Firm up through your right thigh if the knee's lifted. And release both hands to the floor. You're going to lower the back knee down, half splits. Pull your hips back, straighten through the left leg. I'm curling my left toes back towards the shin. From here, spin that leg, that foot out to the left. It's tight on this side. So don't forget your breath here. And I know we talk about that so much, but if you're kind of like really pushing your way through this, like it's your body kind of wants to protect itself because it feels like it's under stress, under pressure. So if it's really strong and you're finding it hard to breathe, maybe bend the knee a little bit. Just relax. You're going to turn your toes back towards the center. You're going to rebend the left knee and you're going to swing your right shin so it's parallel to the top edge of the mat. Left hand to the inside of the left foot, reach the right arm up in a modified side angle. Or if you wish, you're going to grab your strap, hold it in between the hands, and we're going to add in the side bend. And lift the torso all the way back up. Get rid of the strap if you've got it. Take your arms out. So we're going to try to do this without the hands. We're going to lower the right hip all the way down. And then we're going to extend the right leg out. So we're making this little straddle position, right? So notice I'm not in my widest side split. You don't have to go super wide. Your hand's going to come back behind you. And we'll start again with the knees bent, right? Nice long spine. Spinning the pinky toes down and drawing the knees back in. I'm just doing that a couple of times. Maybe you're going to straighten the legs. And don't get too caught up in how far you're going because, a lot of this is going to depend on different factors. All you want to be focused on is obviously your breath, but also just any sensations that your body's giving you. So you get curious, be like, oh wow, my right leg seems to like this more than my left. I wonder why that is. Or why do I find it challenging? Where do you feel the tightness in the hips? Can you be specific? You'll rebend the knees if they're straight. Hands are going to come to the inside. So it's almost like you're doing just like a seated variation of Malasana, yogi squat. Stay here, or you can take your big toes. So you want to be on the sitting bones, and then you want to extend through the crown of the head and lengthen through the sides of your body. From here, maybe you just hobble one foot, maybe the other. Maybe you're working to extend the legs. Lift your heart. Ooh, embrace those wobbles. They're going to happen. So even though I'm holding my toes, I'm not in this rounded position, just holding on for dear life, right? So if that's you, I would bend the knees and then work more on lifting the chest up. So you want to keep that straight spine and then, lift through the belly, through the waist, maybe extending the legs. You're gonna bend your right knee. You'll place your right leg down on the floor. So again, first option, you can fold here. Second option, left shoulder is coming to the inside of the left knee. You can maybe wriggle it underneath a little bit more if you need. Right hand is going to come to the left foot to begin with, just to kind of get into the pose. And then we're going to keep the leg lifted. Do whatever you can with the right arm. Now, you'll see here that my leg is still connected to my arm, so I am still using some leverage. So if you want to get really challenging, take the leg off the arm. And release the left leg down. You're going to bend your left knee by setting up for pigeon. Extend the right leg back behind you. Square off the hips. So staying active in this pigeon, either hands to the floor or fingertips to your temples or behind the head. Take an inhale. Exhale, come down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one, inhale. And exhale. We're going to lift back up. Three-legged dog, hands down, sweep the left leg up and back. Maybe straight into flip dog. Maybe you're hovering your left leg. Last full breath in. Exhale, release, vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Shift forwards into plank position. I'm going to lower onto the forearms for forearm plank. Last little bit of core work here, so feel free to stay here. Maybe you're dropping the knees down. If you want to make it a little more challenging, you can shift forwards and backwards. If you're doing this shifting movement, keep your hips in line with the shoulders. And lower your hips down, Sphinx pose. Pull your chest through your shoulders. You want to circle out the neck a couple of times. And lower all the way to your belly. You're going to take Shalabhasana. Take your arms back behind you, interlace your fingers. You can always use a strap here if you need. You'll keep the tops of your feet down, strong through the legs, peel your chest up. Now, if it feels okay on the lower back, you can go ahead and lift the legs. We're going for a little more length rather than height. And I'm not just pressing my belly into the mat, right? So I'm using the muscles of my back body to lift me up, right? I'm not just using that kind of pressure against the floor to push myself up. Take another breath here. Exhale, release back down. You might be taking one cheek down. If you need to bend the knees and sway out the legs, go for it. So you're either going to stay with that variation or we're going to add on something a little bit different. So you'll set yourself back up. You'll interlace your fingers the other way, so the other thumb's on top. You're going to keep your forehead down though, and then you're going to bend your knees and squeeze your heels to your butt a lot. You want to try to keep the knees as wide as the hips. And then from here, begin to lift the chest up. Maybe your thighs lift. Last breath. And release. Other cheek down. Maybe sway out the legs. Last back bend here, repeating either variation that we've done, or if you want Dhanurasana, bow pose, that's what we're going to work into. So you'll have your arms alongside you, thumbs down. You're going to squeeze your heels to your butt again. Begin to lift the chest up, and rather than twisting to come into it, keep squeezing your heels, lift your thighs, and maybe your hands then find your feet or your ankles. Last breath here. And release with control. Roll straight over onto your back. You're going to hug your knees into your chest. Give them a nice big squeeze. Maybe a little rock from side to side. You'll place your feet down on the mat. Feet will be as wide as the mat, knees knocking in towards one another. They don't have to touch. You can play around with how wide your feet are and just rest one hand on your belly and one on your heart. Allow your breath to start to slow down, to soften. And when we move through a flow, when the body's working hard, the breath has to adjust for that. And that's fine, that's normal. So now that we've slowed down, and just allowing the breath to soften again. And then this is going to be super personal. So this is up to you guys. But when you feel like you've got your breath back under control, like, you're not kind of chasing your breath, only then begin to move into your Shavasana. You might end up spending 5 minutes here in this supported rest pose, just allowing everything to resettle. From there, you might then extend your legs and take your final resting pose. Maybe you don't need that amount of time and you can just, in the next 8 to 10 breaths, start to make your way there. Really try to resist the urge to fidget. We can use poses a lot of the time to fill space when really we can just be still. And so this is where I'm going to leave you guys. Take as much time as you need. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining in. I hope you enjoyed practice today. And as always, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or comments. Thank you and namaste.